one of the top challenges from a health perspective is coccidiosis. So that's a Eimeria challenge that's definitely going to cycle through your bird. So having an ideal cocci management strategy is key in order to have a healthy flock.
Healthy birds equal a happy poultry producer. Which strategies are there to maintain a healthy flock? My name is Iris Hoffman, editor for Poultry World. In the hot seat we have Shelby Ramirez, Poultry Global Marketing Manager at dsm-firmenich Animal Nutrition and Health. Hello Shelby, nice having you here.
Thank you, Iris. I'm happy to be here.
Could you maybe explain how does health factor into poultry production?
Yeah, no, good question. I mean, health is a central part. I mean, the goal of poultry production is really producing a safe, nutritious, quality animal protein for consumers, right? So meat and eggs going to the consumer. And to produce that, not only do we need to provide adequate nutrition, but also a healthy flock. Having health programs are an integral part of poultry production.
Can you give a couple of examples of those health programs, for instance?
Yeah, definitely. So there's several aspects when it comes to health. Essentially, biosecurity management practices, your vaccine programs, your hatchery practices, managing on the breeder side, the broiler side, your layers, pullets. I mean, each stage of production is going to have specific aspects from a health standpoint, and depending on your production system, the goals that you're trying to achieve, the consumer market that you're going for, there could be variations in what you're trying to achieve. But overall, having a healthy flock and the flock that's achieving adequate performance and meeting your production metrics would be a way to evaluate your particular program.
Yeah, because what kind of challenges do poultry producers are facing at the moment?
Depending on where you're situated in the world, obviously there's going to be differences in what disease pressures you have, and obviously in higher density flocks and where you're situated with other production systems, you may have a little bit higher pressure from a disease standpoint. So, for example, you may have heard about high path, for example. Definitely the migratory patterns for birds and where you're situated, you're going to have some different disease pressures there. But in general, I would say one of the top challenges from a health perspective is coccidiosis. So that's a Eimeria challenge that's definitely going to cycle through your bird. So having an ideal cocci management strategy is key in order to have a healthy flock. So there's different approaches with cocci. We had a great presentation here by Dr. Judith LaBounty sharing on different approaches for coccidiosis. And one of the things that she was sharing was some of the approaches for using cocci vaccine. Mm-hmm. And definitely using cocci vaccine is an option for moving away from something like an anti-coccidial or an ionophore, and rotating in a cocci vaccine can be an approach you can take for coccidiosis. Mm-hmm. One of the challenges with that, though, is in some cases you can have a drop in performance.
Exactly. That's what you see with a lot of vaccines, right?
Exactly.
There's mostly a drop first, yeah.
Exactly. So it's not necessarily specifically with cocci vaccine, but also with other vaccines, you can have this dip in performance. And that's expected because you're basically using the bird's own immunity to build that, right? So really you're going to have a slight dip in performance. And so we're, as dsm-firmenich, we're actually helping producers overcome the performance drop with vaccines. So by protecting the intestine and making sure that we're keeping that absorptive capacity intact, we can overcome some of the performance challenges due to vaccination.
Yeah, so you see good results from that.
Exactly, yes.
You already mentioned that there are different challenges in different regions. Could you give a couple of examples of that?
Yeah, so in terms of different management strategies, like one of the things we were discussing at this event was the litter management. So for example, in the States, they use reused litter versus like in Europe, for example, they're using fresh litter. And then in other regions, they're not using any litter. They're still using a cage system for production. So one of the advantages of using used litter is the established microbiome present in the litter is giving those birds an inoculation of whatever microflora is in your production system. Now, if you have a good microbiota population, it's not so much of a challenge. You're actually getting better performance on reused litter. But in cases where you're having potentially a higher pathogen load or more challenging bacteria in that particular population, it can actually hurt performance because you're starting young chicks. They don't really have an established microflora. So if they're put onto used litter with not so great of an environment, that could be a challenge, right?
Yeah.
So that's the benefit of using fresh litter is, it's clean. You're not having a high pathogen load. So starting chicks on fresh litter, there's an advantage there. So depending on the production system, what environment those chicks are going into, you're going to have differences from a health perspective.
Exactly, and it's also very important that in the beginning, when they're young chicks, they get the right nutrients, because that kind of like established like the rest of their lives.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So starting, that chick with a good microflora is critical, right? So we have one particular product, a symbiotic product, that is a multi-strain live bacteria that were selected from the bird and established in the bird. So it's a really good product to get the good microflora established early and sets them up better long term.
So when it comes to health, the first thing I think of when animal is sick, I call a veterinarian. How do you see the importance of working together with the farm manager, the nutritionist, and the veterinarian?
It's crucial. I mean, the producer, from the farm management perspective, the veterinarian and the nutritionist all have essential roles in the company, right? You need the management to be right, you need the nutrition to be right, and you need the health to be right. So these are each important factors when it comes to producing that safe, nutritious food for our consumers, right? So there's different goals for each of those roles, and it's important that each of their goals are being met. So having the discussion with each of them and having the opportunity to work with all roles is a benefit I think we have it as dsm-firmenich, right? So we have nutrition, we have health products, we have a comprehensive package that we can speak to their different goals within the company. So for example, one of the services that we have, Virax, is actually a blood biomarker prediction tool. So basically working with the veterinarian, working with their postings, collecting blood samples, looking at biomarkers is a way to help our customers understand what's going on farm, like some different challenges that they're working through. And these challenges can be both health and nutrition. So, utilizing this particular service, we can actually have the discussion with multiple roles within a company and help them by sharing some data from their farms and help them kind of navigate, what to do next based on what they're seeing in their particular production. So each role is important. They all have different goals. And we have services and comprehensive solutions that can help them achieve their goals.
Could you maybe share some strategies and some ways that support producers in moving to more modern health strategies?
So one of the tools that have been traditionally used are antibiotics, for example. So antibiotics have been used in the past, not only for disease prevention, but also for growth promotion. And due to consumer demand, regulatory, many producers are moving away from using antibiotics. Additionally, we want to make sure that our antibiotics are maintaining their efficacy. So you may be hearing about antimicrobial resistance, having antimicrobial resistance genes popping up in our antibiotics. So when that happens, we're losing the efficacy of those tools. So we at dsm-firmenich are utilizing modern solutions, so using, for example, precision microbiome modulation, competitive exclusion, so different strategies to support the bird's health rather than going for more of those traditional approaches. So those are some of the ways that we can set up our producers to have healthy flocks by going for more modern strategies.
Yeah, exactly. And is there a last message you want to give to poultry producers in the poultry industry?
Yeah, so we at dsm-firmenich do have a comprehensive portfolio. I know traditionally we've been viewed as more of a nutrition company, right? So we do have a fantastic set of tools from a nutrition perspective. So helping to optimize feed, and we do also have tools to ensure flock health. So helping our customers achieve their goals from a coccidiosis management perspective, their antimicrobial reduction strategies, helping from mycotoxin risk management, for example, and also from a welfare perspective. So we do have a wide portfolio, and we also have services to support our customers to ensure that they're maintaining and ensuring their flock health.
Wow, sounds very good. Thank you very much for your time. It was lovely having you here.
Thank you, Iris.
And thank you for watching Future Feed Talks. Do you want to see more episodes or listen to our podcast? Click on the links below.